Happy tax day, everybody. How we doing? Man, my hair looks like shit. Whatever. Don't care. Need a haircut. Who cares, right? Hope everybody's having a good tax day. Hope you pay your taxes. Some of y'all used to pay my salary. All right, man. So let's get into this. It is Tuesday, April 17th, 2018. Blah, blah, blah. If you don't know that, well, what the hell's your problem? So, look, last week I titled, and these are just sunflower seeds, reader. Don't get a hard on. It's baseball season, man. You gotta have certain things go into your mouth during baseball season. So, mine are sunflower seeds. Okay? All right. This hair thing is going to bother me, especially this little part right here. But let's get into the show. I hope everybody had a good week last week. I'm going to go ahead and say half of us did and half of us didn't. So, let's get that shit out of my mouth because I don't want it there. So, Chris, first of all, look, man, I agreed to this whole show thing, this dueling show crap. But you're taking all my talking points, bro. Okay? So, maybe back off on some of these things, man. Okay? I mean, help me out. I need to have something to talk about. I mean, Jesus. But anyways, thank you, Chris, for all your insight into our week 2 that got wrapped up. And so let's look. Last week I titled the show PPD, but apparently I should have waited. I prematurely named last week's show PPD. I should have named it this week PPD because we are all dealing with PPDs, okay? I calculated it, but my beautiful wife threw away the piece of paper. If I added it up correctly, which I'm not good at math, we are now dealing with 23 postponed, delayed games. And we have not been in a season that many days. There were days last week where we had 3-4 games postponed in one day. I see this being a potential problem. And this is why I foresee it being a potential problem. Double headers. When the double headers come into play, and we're seeing today that there's a double header with the Kansas City-Toronto game. As the season progresses, these games that were postponed, they obviously are going to get made up. You have to compile 162 games in a season, and baseball is going to get that money. Okay, so in the future, when these games are made up, and it just so happens to be a doubleheader type deal, well then, when these games start getting made up, it gets really tricky because players may not play the second game or first game or vice versa. And if you bench some people and then they do well, you start basically hating yourself for it. Okay? Because you're like, dadgummit, this guy didn't play but one game instead of 2 in the doubleheader. This guy that I chose to bench, I mean, let's face it, it's a dilemma. We all deal with it. So again, it's not like we haven't done this before, but it sucks. And now it almost feels like it's going to be a bigger issue because we had so many games that are postponed due to weather so early on and jumbled all together. Especially that, what was it, that White Sox game series. So you know that the next time that those two teams play, there's going to be a lot of double headers. That's going to suck. You know, I don't have any players on either one of those teams, but who knows what might happen later on in the season. So, again, that might be something to consider. I.e., look at Bill. He probably would have pulled out a victory last week. Rain and other things caused that not to happen. I don't know. Maybe that might be a potential playing card later on if you're like, hey, you know what? I need to make a trade for this guy for, you know, I don't know, whatever reason. But anyways, we're all dealing with weather. Should have titled PPD last week. All right, so you know what, Chris, you harped on some players like I did last season, and you point out, you know, the top 6 batters. I'm gonna throw out some names of some players that are kind of head scratchers. Like, man, I expected more, and here we are in week 3, and I'm still not getting results. And this again goes back to my other videos where I've basically said, I don't give a shit about what you paid for a person on a draft, okay? Because I care about the here and now. I care about what they're doing. Now, again, that plays a big role into how people trade. We see streaks, and if I'm wanting to get that person at that time, it's one of those scenarios where it's like buy low or, you know, pay high or whatever the hell that phrase is called. But so anyways, here's some players, in my opinion, that I'm kind of surprised at how they are not producing. And a lot of people will say maybe it's the weather. So first one I got to point out, I'm sorry, Shane, Joey Votto. Wow. 2 runs, 5 RBIs. He is batting .292, so there is something to be said there. But good golly. I mean, I don't know what you paid for him because, again, I don't pay attention to that. So, Chris, you go right ahead and throw that out there. I'm sure you've got that somewhere on one of the sides of your brain of how much he spent. But Joey Votto, dude put up some big numbers last year. No reason why he wouldn't have got drafted high. And here he is sitting at number 630 in the rankings of Yahoo players. That is not something you want to see. Now, another guy that I'm, you know, kind of a head scratcher is Rizzo. Now, I know he got, you know, I was hearing on the radio today he slept on a mattress wrong. Oh, poor baby. You sleep on a mattress wrong, so you miss 10 days and you get paid a couple $100,000. Fuck off, bitch. Oh my gosh, but still 2 runs. Now he's always, you know, picking it up and yada, yada, yada. But, you know, Anthony Rizzo, again, you can't really, it's small sample size because we haven't been doing this for very long, but still, I found it a little peculiar, to say the least. Can we go to the next page? Thank you. Another guy, Corey Seager. You know, I know Eric's probably really excited to have both the Seager brothers on his team, but not really seeing a whole lot from Corey. And, I mean, he's on the Dodgers, and you expected a little bit from him, but not really seeing a whole lot from old Corey. The last one, Edwin Encarnacion, first baseman. Josh, you know, likes him. I think I've always seen him at some point or another on Josh's team. And granted, he's got 3 home runs, but he's only batting .255. So, you know, a few names to consider for, you know, and you know, maybe it's future thought processes for how people end up drafting. You know, So, going to some pitchers that are kind of head scratchers. Chris Archer, he's about the only reason that anybody would go see a Rays game right now, and he's not really doing anything. He's got 24 Ks, but he's got a 7.84 ERA. I mean, is Chris going to get traded, or is he kind of old news? I don't know. Another name that kind of is a head scratcher is Jose Quintana. Only 9 Ks, 8.16. Now, Chicago was all on board with him. I don't know. I just, we're not seeing a whole lot coming from this guy. And again, 9 strikeouts. Ugh, you don't want that, So I don't know. I know Chris always liked him or likes him or whatever. And Sonny Gray, he got traded to the Yankees. That Yankees roster's, looking pretty stout. Pitching staff, But there you are, 15 Ks, 6.92. So I bring all this up because one of my favorite things to do, but, hasn't always proved the most beneficial, is I like making trades. And as you guys seen today, I made a trade. Now, I got to say, when I was looking at Bill's roster, and I was like, man, I think I could probably, speaking of Bill, hey, Bill. But when I'm looking at Bill's roster, I was like, Charlie Morton, the pitcher. We're not talking about somebody else. I don't know. Then I started reading a few articles about him. Maybe I'm a little behind on my baseball articles, but I was kind of blown away by what he was doing and what he's expected to do. And I like that Houston Astros lineup, and I think he's got a lot of support. I never would have thought Charlie Morton. And then who I traded, Felix Hernandez and Matt Harvey. Now, granted, 3 seasons ago, you wouldn't have done that. You would have, it would have not even been a scenario, those 2 guys. But Felix is getting old. Matt Harvey's getting a little up there. They're going to eat a few innings. They may be able to potentially keep your ERA, low or medium. It may give you some strikeouts, but, I drafted Felix, and I'm like, not really liking what I'm seeing. Picked up Matt Harvey off the waiver wire, and I'm like, not really liking what I'm seeing. So, again, that just has to do with me. But look at it, okay? Chris and I will disagree every time, every season about this. He believes, or his core statement is always, oh man, it's early. It's early in the season. It's early. Don't be upset. No, sir. Not when it always seems to come down, and especially in that bottom 2 positions, it always comes down to the last week. And I don't want to be the one crossing my fingers, being like, man, I want to, I'd like to secure one of those second or third place positions. So, I'm looking at some guys down there that I know do not want to be down there. Shane, and I know you're asking right now, man, does anybody have some people that are eating RBIs? On one hand, do you say, wait it out, you drafted well? Or do you say, you know what, I've had enough? And that's pretty much what I always do. That, in my opinion, I'm always like, look, I've had enough. I don't want to deal with this person anymore. I'm going to go out there and get some trading done. I'm pretty surprised, Jason, that you have more moves than I do. I'm going to need to step it up. But, I don't want to take up too much of you guys' time. Time is money. And you guys are ready to get to your tax day, celebrating your tax day. Make sure you get out there and vote. But, speaking of that, vote. Voter registration card. Whatever. So, I hope everybody's going to have a good week. I don't know. Who's the matchup of the week? I don't know. Bill, come on, man. Come on, man. We gotta get a victory here. Shane and Chris Reader. I know Shane's looking to get it going. So, Shane, I don't know, man. I like doing trades. You got something out there for me? Make it interesting. I was looking earlier. Maybe you want to get rid of Votto. I don't know. I got a few first basemen. Reese is not going anywhere. Whatever the hell his name is. Reese. Dude is slowly becoming one of my favorite players on my batting lineup. So, hit me up. Hope everybody has a good week. I was fitting to click the computer to turn my phone off. They're not adapted that way yet. So, have a good week, everybody.